Welcome back to Ask Allison. Here's today's question. An acquaintance built my website for really cheap and it's awful. I ask for certain changes and it doesn't get done. What should I do? Before I answer, I'd like to thank TherapyNotes for sponsoring Ask Allison. They're the #1 rated electronic health record system available today. With live telephone support 7 days a week, it is clear why TherapyNotes is rated 4.9 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot and has a 5-star rating on Google. TherapyNotes makes billing, scheduling, note-taking, and telehealth incredibly easy. And they also offer e-prescribe for you prescribers out there. If you're coming from another EHR, TherapyNotes makes the transition incredibly easy, importing your demographic data free of charge so you can get going right away. Find out what more than 100,000 mental health professionals already know. Use promo code ABUNDANT at therapynotes.com for 2 free months. Oh man, so this is hard. We're starting a business. It feels really scary, or it isn't possible to invest a sizable amount in something like a website, especially when you're coming from an agency income or a non-entrepreneurial life. We're not making a ton in our agencies, and we often don't realize that most restaurant owners don't pay themselves for the first 2 years of business, or that most business owners have to take out really sizable loans or get funding in order to get started. And we are really, really lucky that we're in a field that allows for a much less expensive startup. And sometimes we just don't have the money for it, right? And loans feel scary. So I totally get why you would go with an acquaintance to build your website. I actually went with an acquaintance to build mine, my very first website. So I so get it. All that to say, investing in a website designer you don't know makes it a lot easier to say things like, so I asked for these changes and they haven't been made, or I don't like the way this looks. When someone's doing you a favor, it feels like an imposition every time you ask them to tweak something or you want to change your copy or things like that. Plus, we're learning as we go, right? So when we were first getting started, we realized that we can do things more effectively the more we learn. And like the very first version of your website copy, which might be something you're wanting them to tweak, it's going to pale in comparison to the copy that you write when you've done some training in effective copywriting. The latter is going to get way more people in the door, and it needs to be live on your website in order for it to work. And if we can't implement what we learn, we don't get where we want to be, at least not in a timely manner. So here is my advice for this specific situation and the myriad of similar situations we find ourselves in. So here are the options. Number 1, talk to the web designer and say, I really appreciate you getting me all set up. I'm probably going to want to change some things over time, and I don't want to take advantage. Could you just like screen share and record a video of how to edit the easy things and what not to touch so I don't break it? That way they can do it on their own time and then send the video over. It might be that they just don't do it in the way that they just haven't gotten back to you with the other things either, but I think it's worth a shot. You could hire someone else then for tweaks. You'll just need you'll need like an admin login for them. You might need to get it from the person who created it for you if you don't have it, which they should give to you no matter what. A third option would be to consider another route entirely. Squarespace, for instance, it doesn't make you shell out thousands at once for a site, but instead it has a really low fee every month, like $20 or something like that a month for your website. You're building it yourself, but their tutorials and their templates make building it a lot easier than you think. The truth is that paying for something also allows you to feel more empowered to get what you asked for from it. So even when we're paying, it's not always easy to ask for those conversations. This is when we have to like put on our CEO hat and act like the boss that we are, even if it's not the way we're used to communicating with people because you haven't been a CEO for long. And that's not easy for all of us. Today's free download is actually a series of statements I have used to remind myself that it is my job to be the damn boss. And I'll link to that to make it easy to access, or you can DM me the word sheets, as in worksheets. DM or comment underneath this for that, or find it in the links. And I know the money may be tight. I know that spending may seem foolhardy, but spending in the ways that bring in more revenue sooner is a great investment in your financial security. It may mean delaying gratification and strategizing. But if something like the Abundance Party, which is something you can afford coming out of an agency, it costs less than a session and it can get you full a year sooner than you would otherwise get full. It's like $100,000 extra that you'd have that year than if you didn't do the things you needed to learn. or implement the things that you learn. And if DIYing is the very last thing you want to do, we have a service called Website in a Week. You can hit the link on top if you're interested in having us build your website for you. Whichever route you go, time is money. And the longer you wait to have a website that brings clients in, the longer it takes for you to make the kind of money that you were hoping for, or more, hopefully. I hope that helps. Let us know how we can support you, and have a really great day.